Today, we're in Houston, Texas to visit one of the nation's most successful window film companies. They'll show us how they've earned high volume sales each year and give us a how-to on a decorative film installation. This is TintTV.
Welcome to TintTV. I'm Casey Flores, and today we're in Houston, Texas to visit Sunset Glass Tinting. This 29-year-old business has been under the same name and owned by Eddie Russell since its inception. In recent years, the company's expanded to 2 other major metros. Hey, Eddie.
Hello, Casey.
Nice to see you.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Do you mind showing me around your shop?
Not a bit. Let's take a tour.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eddie Russell. I'm the owner of Sunset Glass Tinting. We're a 3-time 3M National Dealer of the Year, and we service Houston, San Antonio, and Austin.
Eddie's been working the Houston market for a long time. You don't sell the amount of film that he does without a high-level logistical operation.
So, Casey, this is the engine room at Sunset Glass Tinting. Everybody in here answers the phones. This is where we assign the leads to the various salesmen. We handle our accounting here, our billing here, our estimating here, and this is a very, very busy, stressful room.
Sure.
All right.
So now explain this to me.
This is a map of the greater Houston marketplace, which it's roughly 100 miles from north to south and 100 miles from east to west. So we've got 5 outside salesmen. Each guy has an area of the city that he's responsible for.
And where are you seeing the most commercial growth?
Commercial growth has followed the oil companies, which has been on the energy corridor, which is out I-10, downtown Houston, the Woodlands, and Sugar Land.
Okay, and now what about residential?
Residential is really strong everywhere on that map. So, Case, we invested years ago in a reverse osmosis water system, which is the most pure water you can use in a window film job. We built 120 pounds of air pressure in these tanks so that the guys can work all day long. They never have to pump the old-fashioned pumps.
Anywhere from 5 to 10,000 square feet of film is leaving this place each day. So Sunset's put in a process to make sure the right film's going to the right place at the right time. So Stephen here is in charge of inventory and helps manage projects. Stephen, how do you make sure everything's running smoothly?
Okay, so every morning our guys have to be here by 7:30, and I've already pulled their film. We use a Tempro system, so it tells me exactly what job they're going to and how much film they need. But we also use an inventory system that tells me how much film is left still on the box, so I know exactly how much is in that roll, so I can give them the correct amount every job, every time. Okay, so the night before, I get all the paperwork, and I go through and look and see how much I actually need for the job and place it on the shelf and put the paperwork in their slot so they know tomorrow morning, this is my job, this is how much film I need. And I have all the outgoing film with the labels facing out. The installers know to return the film with the labels facing in, so I know that it's been a return box.
Sunset hasn't grown without diversifying. The company's recently expanded its security operations in a big way. For his security division alone, Eddie leased this 5,000 square foot warehouse just down the street from his offices. Each piece of glass in here has 3 layers of 15 mil security film on it, a proprietary system from C-Bond, which is a liquid solution that, when applied to glass, forms a combination that the company says is much stronger than glass on its own. The contract for a local school was secured by C-Bond and is worth several $millions. Another one of Sunset's divisions is decorative film. That's what we're going to focus on for Tint Tips.
Before we get to Tint Tips, we're going to show you the whole decorative process. Behind me is a $1.5 million printer owned by a partner of Sunset. It's printing on film that's going to be installed later.
So this is about 1,000 square foot custom printed job. They've seen a submittal, they've approved the design. We're printing all the film now and we're fixing to go install it.
For Tint Tips today, we're at a graphic designer's soon-to-be office. This is where the film we saw printed earlier will be installed.
Hi, this is Austin with Sunset Glass Tinting, a lead installer here, ready to show you how to install some decorative window film. So first off, we got to clean the glass. Okay, so reason for the scrubby is because this is tempered glass, and tempered glass being hard as a rock, but it'll scratch very easily. So that's the reason for no razor blade. Now here we're going to back roll this. Back rolling is a process of, as we are rolling out the film, it allows us to keep it all clean and everything all nice and tidy without getting a bunch of dirt in the way. And also allows us to manage a lot bigger piece of film without having to get a bunch of static electricity and bring a lot of dirt into it.
So, are there any major differences when you're installing a decorative film versus a solar control film?
Yes, this film here is quite a bit different in that it scratches a lot more. So you have to be careful with what tools you use to squeegee out the water with. You can't just use a normal hard card or anything of this nature. Even if you're going to use this, you want to make sure to have a paper towel around it. What we usually use in this case is a power squeegee or a soft Blue Max squeegee, just so that we don't scratch the film. You want to make sure all your edges are straight and everything's aligned, because right now it's still at the point to where it's still kind of able to be moved around. It's not actually fixed to the glass yet. Okay, then we just spray down the outside of the film before we squeegee, just to keep the friction down a little bit of the ways. Make sure all our lines meet up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start squeegeeing from the top and work the water down and let gravity work for us. I like to squeegee straight down. Some other people like to squeegee across the window, but I like to go down just so that I can keep a nice track on everything. Now, since I'm about halfway through the window, I'm going to go ahead and walk back up and cut the edges just so I don't have to come back up the ladder again, and we got to trim real nice and neat up against this bevel on both sides. Now we'll start squeegeeing the bottom half. Again, we get it wet just so that we don't have any friction or anything of that nature, so we don't scratch this nice decorative film. You want to make sure to line all your edges up so that whenever you go from one printed film to the next printed film, that all the lines go seamlessly together. So a lot of issues sometimes younger guys starting out deal with is they'll be coming down here to finish the bottom and they didn't have it nice and tacked up there. By the time they get down here and trim, they've got a ½ inch on top and it's got a big clear gap on top. So you want to make sure to get everything right before you start trimming the edges in the bottom. Once you get down to the bottom here, sometimes it's real hard to just continue cutting all the way down to the bottom. So what you want to do is switch from cutting downward and go from an upward cut here. Take out our trim guide so we don't suck any dirt in from the bottom frame. And then now we're ready to finalize it. This here has a towel on it so that whenever I'm 5-weighing it, it actually sucks water out of the frame so that the remaining water in the frame doesn't drip down into the wet film later. And that one's done.
Eddie's got a large lead network, many of whom are property managers. We went to one of their buildings and talked with a key decision maker. We're at the 363 North Belt building, where every window on this facility has film on it. Sunset sold the job through Tom Wilson, chief engineer of the property management company. So Tom, 80,000 square feet of window film. What has that done for you?
It's changed our building dramatically as far as our tenant comfort. Prior to the film installation, we were trying to encourage everybody not to put their credenza and their desk close to the windows, because at the windows we were excess of 100 degrees on triple-digit days. Now we're able to maintain 72, 74 degrees. So that's enabled people to move back and enjoy the view, which is why they rent the spaces in this building.
Sure. And what about energy savings? How has that affected you?
That we saved around $150,000 our first year out, and that combined with a center point rebate that we were able to achieve, which was another $70,000
Oh, wow.
Round numbers.
That's excellent.
We really wanted to keep our light coming in, our natural light coming in as part of our illumination. And part of that, when we did the film, a lot of people wanted to offer mirrored smoke, real dark tint. We chose the clear tint. So actually our outside of the building did not change in appearance from before we had the tint and after.
So why did you choose window film as your big energy solution?
Once we knew that we could not cool that space, then it boiled down to economics. Reskin the building or put on film. We chose the film.
And how did Sunset end up being the company you chose to do that?
Once we selected that we were going to use film, we did some research on the types of film out there, warranties, and then we put together a scope of work that consisted of not only the film that they were going to use, the longevity of their company, but how many trucks they have on the field, how many permanent full-time employees do they hire. Will they be the employees at my job, or will they be seasonal people that have not went through the security side of being licensed and bonded?
As Eddie mentioned, this city's residential market is huge. Today we're going with Sunset to look at an installation in one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in the entire nation. This job was originally to be done by another window film company that knew the home builder. Those guys came in, scratched the glass while cleaning it, and then Sunset was called to complete the job.
I wanted to make a perfect house with no flaws at all in construction or any other part. And he selected all the vendors, including this film guy. Builder have his own preferred guy, and I wasn't comfortable. So I was looking for somebody who does the better job without considering any cost issue. And I happened to find this gentleman, and they have proven to do a very good job. We had a previous guy who put the sample on a window, and he scratched the window, and I was not really too much upset, but I am a perfectionist, I'm an engineer, and I wanted to do the job so perfect. So I just hired Sunset.
Now it's time for the dealer discussion. We want to find out what makes Sunset one of the top companies in the nation. So we sat down with Eddie to get the inside story. So Eddie, you have 3 locations, more than 30 full-time employees, and 0 automotive tinting. Why'd you go that route?
Well, a long time ago we actually had a Formula One shop in Houston, and I ended up having employees steal most of the business from me. And so after 2 years, I just decided to focus on the flat glass.
So with a growing operation, sometimes you need some new help. How do you train those new employees?
Most of the installers that don't work for me now, I really don't want, because they've got too many bad habits, misperceptions, or issues coming in. Okay, we drug test our guys, we background checked our guys, because we do so much security work in schools. So you've got to really have a clean slate to work here. We train our guys really in the field. They clean windows for a long period of time before they ever can put window film on.
Now a 30 employee operation that's sending out 10 to 15,000 square feet of film daily needs a lot of logistical organization. How do you keep that in check?
A key for us in tracking our leads, our sales, our appointments, our jobs, the film sold, all of that is through the software Tint Pro. We were the first Tint Pro customer in the United States, and we could not operate without it. It tracks everything for us.
So in order to stay growing and evolve, window film companies have to diversify their products. How have you done that?
We wanted to be in several totally different businesses. Decorative window film doesn't have a season. They're not asking for a return on investment. It's not about energy savings. It's just about making the glass pretty. And it pays very well. Of course, the solar film on large buildings, we try to get all of that we can. Residential, completely different business. We do about 100 home installations a month here in the Houston area. The commercial security, for storefronts and schools. Again, it's an unrelated business, but safety and security is just gone nuts. I mean, look at the economy that we're in. People are talking about, you know, random acts of violence, active shooters, break-ins, bombings. I mean, it's a nutty time, and safety and security is a big deal.
Which of your segments is the fastest growing right now?
So Casey, I think the biggest opportunity for growth for us is in two areas: safety and security products and the decorative film products. Any of the new buildings being built in Houston today, and really in the United States today, the glass is so effective that sun control film is typically not used on a new building. However, the tenant that moves in is putting decorative film on just about every piece of interior office glass that they've got.
So you have a connection with Shell and Exxon, and they're giving you big business. How did you end up landing those?
So the way we won the big jobs, there's no secret, it's just hard work, okay? You win the big job by doing a medium-sized job well, and you win the medium-sized job by doing a small job well.
At some point, you had to get a foot in the door with those big companies. How did you start that? Was it networking events or what?
We're active in the Houston Glass Association. We're active in the Association of Chief Operating Engineers. I'm active in a breakfast club. And yeah, a lot of business does come to us by referral, but you know, we have to introduce ourselves to the movers and shakers every day.
Eddie, thank you so much for having us today. This is a great shop you guys got.
Casey, you're always welcome at Sunset Glass Tinting, and I hope your viewers enjoy this.
Thank you so much. All right, I'll see you.
Appreciate it.
One of the things that's really amazing about Sunset is its diversification. When one of the segments is going a little slower, the others pick up the slack, and that's without automotive tinting.
Yeah, and it's not like you can add those parts overnight. It took a lot of research, and he had to make a large personal investment, and that's before having to locate clients in order to stay busy. And now you can see that all that work is paying off.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's it for this episode of Tint TV. I'm Casey Flores.
And I'm Chris Bunn. Thanks for watching.